Man, y'all, you would not believe the week I had at the car lot this week. It's not a great week. It's it's actually kind of dismal, but it's a little interesting. Let me run you through. I actually had 4 sales at the car lot this week. I haven't had a lot of time to put into the car lot because the transmission shop's been doing good. But enough of that. Let's get into what a week at the car lot looked like for me financially this week. All right, so like I've said before, I'm not going to tell you how much money I make. That's none of y'all's business. But you do want to see kind of car for car what typical experiences look like in the car lot. And this week, while typical, I had so many of them that it's not a fair and accurate representation, but I just have to kind of chuckle about it. So let's run through the 4 sales that I had this week and we'll talk about it a little. All right, so the first one I had, man, I knew this one was bad. I overpaid for this car. I don't even remember what I paid for it. It needed some repairs, more than I thought. We had to spend money on those. I let my dad drive it for Thanksgiving. I drove it a little bit when I needed a car with 4 seats, and I could not give away the 2008 Chevy Equinox. Blew my mind. I used to sell tons of Equinox. I started out at $3,850 or $3,900 back in September. September I bought this car. Anyway, finally this week, Monday, I sold the Equinox and I took a loss. If you look at my little sheet, I'm pretty transparent. These folks paid, basically, I lost $770. You'll notice on my little cash position detail that I do usually show with you, we had a $500 trade-in. Now, I take trade-ins. This trade-in was freaking T-boned in the passenger side. The passenger door wouldn't open. The car had, I don't know, 160, 180,000 miles on it. The AC didn't blow cold. The check engine light was on. Junk. Should have gone to a junkyard. It was hit so hard. But because I had owned this Equinox for so long, I went ahead and took the car in trade. And with the trade and their cash, I lost this week on that car $770. Now, it happens. I mean, you take losses sometimes. I probably went through most of 2024 with no losses. And you might have heard me mention previously, if I am shooting for $1,000 a car, I need about $9,000 a month to pay myself, cover overhead, and stay in business. So 8 or 9,000 a month is arguably 2,000, 2,500 a week of gross profit to hit those numbers. So on Monday, we were not off to a good start. But then I went ahead and advertised this Acadia. And I advertised it. You know, I hate when people take pictures of the cars and they say it just has a small dent on the side, but yet they don't have a photo of that. So I put the first picture of the photo of this nice hard T-bone. That was my first picture. I advertised the car for $1,250. I did nothing to it. I drove it from where the customer dropped it off when they traded it. I didn't even dare put it on the front line. I rolled it around to where some of the other junk is, threw the as-is statement in it because that's required by federal law, and I advertised it for $1,250. And I got, 200 is this availables. I had a guy come out and look. It was too much damage for him. I went and got my lunch. I came back. There's a guy driving the damn thing. And as it turns out, he bought it. Now, he bought it for $1,400. That included the tax and the title transfer. But that being said, if you look at the cash position, $691 to the good. So depending on how you want to look at it, that meant I lost, $80 on the Equinox, or I just lost $770 and then made $691. That was the second sale of the week, and I think that one might have been, today's Friday, let me go backwards. So that one was probably Wednesday. Now, let's see what happened on Thursday. So this week has been a little bit of flush the toilet and hope that the turds go down. I had bought, when my pops was here, so around Thanksgiving, an '01 Honda Accord. And this is something to think about when you're working with a new technician or whatnot, but we had a check engine light on for EGR, and we didn't really drive the Accord very much. So after we ran up an $1,100 bill at my own shop, we figure out that the car doesn't shift right. Like the first to second gear shift is kind of crap. So now I owe $1,100 to myself. I paid $7 for the car, so I'm in it for like $1,800, and it doesn't shift, and the sunroof leaks. And it had sat so long there was mold on the roof and the hood and the fenders that you really had to scrub to get off. Well, tax time's coming. I'm trying to free up what little money I can from these junkers to be able to put towards better cars. So I advertised this Accord knowing I'm going to lose at $1,500. And I'll be damned. She sold. She sold in like a day, knowing that it shifted bad. But it did have heat, it did have air conditioning, and the check engine light was on. On that Accord, if you look at my cash position sheet, you saw I lost another $500, $514 to be exact. That was Thursday morning. 500 in the tank, right out of the gate. Now, you might want to make fun of me for this because, I'm a car dealer. We're supposed to make money. People think that the car dealers always just make money hand over fist and we rape the public and we pay nothing for these cars. Well, here's basically 3 examples of basically non-productive cars. I made a profit on 1 out of these 3. I lost on the other 2. Is it generally like this? No. Do you lose every once in a while? Yeah, sometimes you buy a crap car and you lose a little money. Generally, no. Generally, I'm able to get that $1,000, $1,200 gross profit per vehicle to do what I need to do. But this week was a combination of flushing the toilet, getting rid of the old cars, and just having some cars that I didn't make the best choices on. All right, now let's round out the week. Thursday afternoon, I had bought, I think it was in January, a 2006 Dodge Caravan from a fella that I've bought some guns and stuff from. He called and said his daughter-in-law or daughter was selling her van. Did I want to buy it? He wanted like $1,000 for it. So I went over and looked at it. I don't want to beat the guy up too hard. He's a friend. We've done business together. I wanted to call me when he has deals again. But anyway, this poor van, 2 quarts low on oil, maybe 3. The oil light was flickering. The either valve covers or oil cooler were leaking so bad that it smelled like oil all the way down the front. The folks were probably chain smokers, cigarette butts just aplenty everywhere. The whole car smelled like smoke. The headliner was hanging down and probably had 200 thumbtacks in it to hold the headliner up. The paint, the clear coat was coming off. It was a hoopty. It did have good tires, and it actually drove pretty good, which was funny. So I bought it. I gave him $700 for it. My wife's cousin, who we do some business together with, he was with me. We went and bought it. I just remember being cold as hell that day. It was nasty, but we went and bought it, and we had the debate between us about, do we fix it and try to get top dollar, or do we just sell it as is? And this guy, he likes that, he wants stuff handled. He wanted to fix it. And the more I looked at it, I overruled. I said, no, we're going to mark it up and we're going to sell it as a hoopty. You're going to make the same money, but we won't have put in all the time and effort. So I waited for a nice weather day. I vacuumed the car out real good. I put my ionizer in it and got most of that cigarette smell out. We degreased the engine and it drove good. So I drove it, I got a state inspection on it and put it up for sale. And it sat for, I don't know, a month. And he's kind of laughing at me like, well, what are we going to do about this hoopty van? What do you, this sucks. But long story short, the right person came in Thursday afternoon. Needed a car for his mother-in-law, basically just basic transportation. So he gave $2,100 for this van, and then of course after the tax, title, license fees that we have to take out and go pay the county, we made, sorry I'm squinting here, $1,149.66 on this van. So out of the 4 cars I sold this week, only one got the gross profit that we really need to stay in business. Only one. All right, so this is where I plug you to leave me a comment, a like, a subscribe, whatever down below. Which of these cars do you think I made the biggest mistake on? Would you continue to buy cars like this if you're only making, say, $500 a car? Clearly nobody wants to buy cars that are losers, but I make decent money flipping junk cars. I'm not afraid to buy a hoopty if I know I can make money on it. The Honda Accord, I just messed up. That's all there is to it. I messed up. The Equinox, I got too excited. I messed up. But the trade-in, that was a good one. And the van, that was a good one. If you add up my wins and losses for this week, I only made $556. Not enough to sustain life. But this week is a one in a million. I will not have another week where I only make $556. Anyway, that's my video for today. Thanks for watching. I got plenty of other videos coming. There's one fixing to pop up. Appreciate you watching. God bless. Have a great day.